What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss the Wonder Woman canceled game from Warner Bros. Montreal and discuss if it's truly impossible or if it's impossible to create a Wonder Woman game. Now, I talked about this with Superman and Flash put together. I want to make this specific video on Wonder Woman because I think it's a different case, and honestly, I think I have different feelings about the possibility of a Wonder Woman game being possible versus those games. And this is all part of a thing. I would like to make additional videos going forward of how to make or mechanics for these games. So if you guys like this kind of video, make sure you are liking it, make sure you are subscribing, and we'll go from there. So let's talk about the history a little bit. This was a rumor that was peddled around quite a bit, I believe in 2018, very late 2018, that Warner Bros. Montreal was working on this. And it's kind of common knowledge among the leak community that Warner Bros. Montreal was making a Wonder Woman game and that it's since been canceled. That's been reported upon a couple times. Suicide Squad game and Wonder Woman game, people are pretty darn confident that they had been developing for, doesn't really matter how long of time, obviously, because it's been canceled, but for some amount of time, they were working on both of these games, Suicide Squad first, then Wonder Woman second. Now, the person who originally, I believe on 4chan or whatever it was, that leaked the Wonder Woman game way back in the day, talked about it being a mixture of the Arkham games and Assassin's Creed. And when it comes to Wonder Woman, so we talked about Superman and the Flash, and I had said in that video that those two games I think are nearly impossible. I don't think they are impossible, but I think they're very, very difficult to be brought to light. I think Superman, we have all of the problems we've talked about. Other channels have talked about it as well. And then we have Flash, who honestly has kind of the same problems, also focuses way more on speed, and I don't know how you really tame somebody that moves that fast in a small environment, like in a closed environment. I know a lot of people have said, like, Saints Row has done certain things and things like that. I agree. I know games have done that kind of stuff, but you have to remember that all of these games, it sounds like, have to be built in the Arkham formula, have to be built in the Arkham engine, and have to kind of be like it. I'm not saying they're literally the Arkham games, but they have to feel pretty close to it. So yes, open world games, some of them have done things like that, and I've said that in order to make these kind of games, you have to completely change how you do it. And to be honest with you, Wonder Woman is one of those games that I think fits okay in Arkham, but would, thrive, really, in a different scenario. And I think Assassin's Creed, reading that, I was thinking about this video for a couple of days. Okay, I've had this video in mind for at least a week now. And recently, I've been thinking, what would the game actually look like? And some of the main things I thought of were Lasso. I really have thought of the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman that we've seen, the trailer for 1984. We saw the movie Wonder Woman. I was really thinking of those and seeing how could that fit in a game. And to be quite honest with you, I can kind of picture it the way that those movies act. And I'm not saying you have a movie tie-in game, but I think the movie's familiar to people, right? The movie is something we've all seen, we've all experienced. I love the first movie. I think Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be super, super good as well. So I don't think it's a bad thing to kind of say, well, let's try and keep like some of the feel of that and putting it in Assassin's Creed format, which is what this guy said, the newer Assassin's Creed, where there's combos, there's skill trees that you level up. It focuses on the lasso. There's like light attacks and heavy attacks. Blocking is a big thing, they said. Honestly, it all kind of works. Like, I can see it. And another thing I can see is, yes, she's so powerful, but from the movies, and again, I'm only going based off these last two movies, she's I think the most human. She feels the most human out of Flash and out of Superman. Now, Superman has kind of been explored in recent movies, but we know Superman in general, right? He's this godlike being, very, very hard to put into a game, I think, for those kind of reasons, right? How do you hurt him, that kind of stuff? Because it's always kind of been a thing with Superman that it is very hard to even inflict damage upon him, right? So it's not because of the movies. It's just because that's generally how it works. And then Flash hasn't really gotten a lot of treatment in movies, has been in some games. There was a Flash game back, like all these kind of things. But again, the way you would put that in an Arkham game, it's like, well, I don't know how you restrict him in such a... So things like that. But when I think of Wonder Woman, I think, okay, yeah, you still run into the same problems, right? The fact that she really cannot, or at least she shouldn't be able to get hurt by all that many different things. okay, like that is a definite problem, but I don't think it's as focused on with her as much as it is with Superman. So I feel like you won't be able to get away with it. You'll have to like do something. You'd have to come up with something, but I think you'd be able to get through it. There was also talk of like swinging mechanics, so that kind of reminds me of Batman. You know, when he's using his grapple hook and he's swinging from like gargoyle to gargoyle. Sounds like there's similar things with Wonder Woman, but with her lasso. So again, like in the leaks, you think of Assassin's Creed because of the combos, because of the fighting, because of all this stuff. But then there is, it's still very much into the Arkham world. But honestly, I can see it. I could even see kind of like not necessarily like quick time events, but you could even do that in like cutscenes where she does like her sliding thing, where she does her blocking thing. Like picture the movies when she's busted through like the window and like the long hallways with guards with guns. You know how she does like that kind of stuff, and it speeds up at times and it slows down at times. I don't think that's all that impossible to recreate in a game. Again, you could be saying, well, you're going way too much off the movies. There's other things with Diana Prince, with Wonder Woman in general, comics, other things in general. I get it. I know. I mean, she's in Injustice too, right? So there's definitely. I agree. Like I am focusing on the movies, but to be quite honest with you. Batman Arkham wasn't because these movies were something really big at the time, although it was around the time of Chris Nolan's film, so it did make a lot of sense and it did work really well as a complement to it. But I get that you don't have to really, really tie in the movies. I'm just saying from what I've seen of the movies and the popularity of Wonder Woman in general, is it impossible to get a Wonder Woman game? No. And to be quite honest with you, out of the three, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman is I would say easiest to create. Now, one of the things I even said in a comment with the Flash was one of the reasons why I would say it's even less likely we get Flash versus Superman is because of kind of like the niche that the Flash is. The fact that he is popular, sure, TV show, I guess Ezra Miller did okay, but really, when you look at it, like Superman would be the main draw, and Flash, again, has a lot of the same problems as Superman putting into a game, so which one's more likely? Well, you'd probably want to bank on your more, I don't know, like everybody knows more about Superman. It would kind of just make more sense. I would have said Wonder Woman is in the same situation, where it's like if you had to choose between Superman and Wonder Woman, and you just forgot the whole, like, the gameplay part, right? Like, how is it going to function? Which one would be easier to create? I think you would do Superman, right? Because, again, of all the same thing. But you have to remember, if you believe this, they were working on a Wonder Woman game. So it's not like, I guess, they aren't picking. They are not picking the most popular. Now, it could be because there's somebody else making a Superman game. Maybe Superman is in a Justice League game that Rocksteady's making. Maybe Rocksteady is making a Superman game, right? So maybe there was a reason why they didn't do Superman. Maybe Superman would just be so difficult that they're like, well, we could see how Wonder Woman would work, right? It would make sense. We would understand how Wonder Woman works. It'd be a little bit easier to kind of like get through the hurdles of the same problems you'd have with Superman and Flash. Maybe you don't have them with Wonder Woman. Yeah, she's a little less known, I guess. But at the same time, again, one of the things that can help these games is the movies, is the pop culture going on around it. And as of right now, Wonder Woman is by a mile a better character. I guess that's arguable. I think Gal Gadot's portrayal is fantastic. I think Henry Cavill's is also fantastic. I just think they don't necessarily know what they're doing with Superman, and at least they're trying with Wonder Woman, and she's still ongoing versus Superman just not happening anymore. So when you have all of that, I think that from a media point of view, from like a movie point of view, like there's enough there where she is popular, right? She may not still be as popular as Superman in a wide like spectrum, but I think you couple the fact that people are getting more and more likable with her, and also I think it would work. I do actually, when I was envisioning it, and I never saw the whole leak that said like it could be Assassin's Creed molded with the Arkham. I never saw that leak, but honestly, that makes, like, if I thought about it, that would make a lot of sense. Like, it kind of would work from what I would imagine. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's something that could definitely happen. I think, again, it does have problems. It does definitely have problems. There's still a lot of, like, well, how are they going to get away with this? Who's the villain going to be? Is, like, what's her health bar? Like, stuff like that. And again, like how does traversal work and all that stuff. And again, there could be ways around it. I'm sure there are ways around it. I also get, again, that different kinds of games could probably do it. But if they're going to force them to do the Arkham style, it's its own set of rules. So it's its own set of things you have to get past. And I think that at least, I mean, they were trying. Now, that's the final part of this, right, is how impossible is it? Well, they were trying it and then they canceled it. So how likely is it that they would go back or somebody else would go back? To be quite honest with you, right now, I don't think it's very likely. I don't think Rocksteady is making a Wonder Woman game. Maybe if it's a Justice League game, Wonder Woman can be in it, and then we can have the same discussion we could have with everybody else. That is it a test to see, like, could they do a Superman game after that? Could they do a one? So stuff like that, I think that could be what Rocksteady's working on. Warner Bros. Montreal, we know they're making 2 games, right? The new Batman game and then some other game. I don't think they would have circled back to do Wonder Woman. If anything, I feel like they should have circled back and done Suicide Squad again. But a lot of mystery. But I definitely think it's more likely than Flash or Superman from a how a technical point of view, from how it would actually work in the game. I think it would probably be the easiest. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think a Wonder Woman game is impossible to make? Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, I want to make more videos like this, more videos discussing what could be, kind of designing a game like that, going through those kind of things. So if you guys like this kind of video, make sure you are liking it, make sure you're subscribing, having the bell icon hit, turning on the notifications, all that good stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.